Today's episode of the Bleav in Steelers show is brought to you by betonline.ag. Week 11 of the NFL season is here. If you want to place a bet on any of the football action, betonline.ag is the place to do it.
365, 24/7, whatever sport you want to bet on, make sure y'all go to betonline.ag.
So you can see that website on your screen right now. Use our promo code Bleav, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online where the game starts. All right, cue the music. It's time to start the show. Ooh, here we go. Hang on. Welcome to the Bleav in Steelers show on the Bleav Network. I'm your host, Mark Bergin, joined as always by my guy, Pittsburgh Steelers scout, 12-year cornerback for the Steelers, and two-time Super Bowl champion, number 24, Ike Taylor. IT recording on a Friday. Week 11 is here. How you doing this morning, my man? I like that hat, by the way, too.
Oh, yeah. You know, right now it's nippy outside. You know, it's in the 50s in Florida, and when the 50s in Florida, it feel like the 30s in Pittsburgh. But anyway, Mark, I'm doing fine, bro, on a good Friday. How you doing?
Fantastic. And I've got my Swaggin' You shirt on. Ike, it's the holiday season. So if any of our listeners and viewers need to get this little something special for that someone holiday season, we'll leave the link in our show notes, Ike. They can get hooked up with the Swaggin' You t-shirts. Some vintage Steelers gear, Ike.
Right. You know. Pittsburgh still the t-shirt I got going on, and you got the Swaggin' You t-shirt going on, man. We just having a good day so far.
Week 11 is here, Ike, and the Steelers welcome the Bengals. They host the Bengals at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, and this was two teams that went at it in week one. Steelers won in overtime. It was a wild game. We got a lot to talk about here on today's show, but the Steelers coming off a win in week 10 against the Saints. We'll see if Pittsburgh can keep its winning ways going here in week 11 against an AFC North rival. Is that fair, Ike?
Yeah, it is. Week 11 came so fast, man. I can't believe, you know, we dang near 2/3 throughout the season. Only got 8 more games left, depending on who you is. But yeah, another divisional opponent, the Cincinnati Bengals. Mark, Cincinnati still got it on their mind what Pittsburgh did to them the first game. That was a good look by the defense. So I'm sure the Cincinnati defense want to play even better this game to prove, like, okay, y'all smoked our offense last time. We're going to smoke y'all offense this time. And I heard there was a little bit of trash talking from somebody coming from the Cincinnati Bengals, so we shall see when they go to Acrisure Stadium.
Ooh, Ike, that's nothing you're not used to, though, back from your playing days.
Yeah, you know, every blue moon, I used to hit low, below the belt. I used to hit below the belt, but with the mouth, though, like my mouthpiece saying something to you. You know, I got you all the way out of NFL football game. You was thinking about what the hell I just said. It probably was something I said.
Ike, you're talking about the trash talk. You're talking about the trash talk.
Yeah, my trash talking was so special, man. When I said something to you, you might as well go ahead and get out the game because you ain't there. You there physically. Not there.
Ike, it looks like the Steelers are going to get back Minkah Fitzpatrick. Just going to miss one game with the appendicitis. So good to see him back on the practice field. And I was nervous, but it was like addition of subtraction. Yeah. TJ Watt coming back. You see how different this defense is. But Damontae Kazee filling in for Fitzpatrick. I think the Steelers have to figure out a way to get him on the field because he was a playmaker against the Saints too. But Steelers starting to get some more players back. And if the defense can hold the Bengals in check, it looks like Jamar Chase is going to continue to be out. But playing that complementary football, what we saw from the Saints, Steelers played their most well-rounded game in week 10, and we'll see if they can keep that going here on Sunday.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Damontae Kazee. I watched him coming out of college. Little guy, little stature, but big at heart. You know, Damontae, I had an opportunity to watch him live in person at training camp, Mark. And I was like, dang, he itty bitty. But man, when he came through for goal line and he hit Najee, I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. This dude ain't playing no games. And he got up, he was like, God dang, Najee just a big human being. And in my head, I'm like, well, I don't see how you just ran up in there like that, but I like it though a lot. So DeMonte always been like outspoken. Him, Minkah, and Trey, they all get along in that secondary. So, like you just said, Mark, you got to find a way or find a reason to get him on the field because obviously when he's on the field, he does bring that physicality, personality, and he make plays as well. So it's going to be a good mix for the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary.
The parallel I see there, Ike, and this is not to say that DeMonte KZ is Ike Taylor or that Najee Harris is Jerome Bettis, but I see the parallel there from your memories in training camp way back in the day when an undersized DB going up against a thick built running back. That to me, it reminds me of that parallel.
Yeah, you know Najee built like the 4 350 trucks that's lifted. You know, Bussy Jerome Bettis, Hall of Famer, he was built like the big dually trucks with the 2 wide tires in the back. So you can only imagine what the hell I had to hold on to. I had to hold on to something. I held on to help. He didn't get in the end zone because I held on to help and everybody came. But that was big props from Bussy, which is Jerome Bettis I'm talking about. That was props to the offense because I was a young Ike Taylor. I think that was my 3rd year, and I was trying to work on starting. And my defense, they loved it. Coach LeBeau, they loved it. So when they see the young lad coming up and making a hit on goal line, especially against a Hall of Fame like that, like even Bussy like dapped me off and shook me off. He was like, "That hurt, right?" I was like, "Yeah, that hurt like hell."
Ike, you mentioned the trucks. It reminds me of when I came to visit you in Orlando, and you're like, "Yeah, we'll take the truck to go to the cigar bar."
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at this thing, and you have the step that drops down. I was trying to figure out how the heck am I going to get up in this because the step doesn't come down until the door opens. And I'm like, am I going to have to leap in the air just to get into Ike's truck? And is he going to start laughing at me? But then as soon as I opened the door, the step came down and it was crisis averted.
Yeah. You know, got to make it. Mom, of course, she got to get in that truck. So if I ain't had no step, you know, she would have told me bring that truck back and get something a little bit smaller. So you got what you got to do, Mark.
Fitzpatrick, though, going to be back for the Steelers, a key player in week 1 because he won Defensive Player of the Week in that wild overtime game. It was a 23-20 finish, Ike, and he had 14 tackles in that game, an interception, returned for a touchdown, 2 pass breakups, and he blocked the extra point, which sent the game into overtime towards the end of regulation. So maybe as good of a game as Minkah Fitzpatrick has played, and if he's back for the Steelers this week, if they even get like half that level of production hike that they got in week 1, it's going to be a success for Minkah on the back end.
Yeah, you know, it's hard not having Jamar Chase. When you look at Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and seeing what they're doing in the NFL, it's like that's just one of those people you got to have on the field, Mark. So I think, you know, you don't need Minkah right now throughout the whole game because Jamar Chase isn't playing. But if Jamar Chase was playing, then I think it'd be something different. But you know, Joe Cool, you know, Joe Burrow is probably one of my favorite other than Kenny Pickett. But at the same time, man, it's just missing Jamar Chase. He puts a lot of strain, a lot of stress on your secondary and on your defense. So I think they got a clear shot, a real good shot. And just having the physicality back in DeMonte Casey, he's healthy. So that'll be perfect. It's like perfect timing for pretty much everything for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You get TJ back, DeMonte comes back. Even though Minkah is hurt, you don't need a full Minkah right now because you got some guys who can step in and fill them roles.
Yeah, Ike, we're going to see how all of this shakes out. Color Rush uniforms this weekend, and I was mentioning the Defensive Player of the Week's awards. Alex Highsmith, this past week's winner, he had 5 tackles, 2 sacks, a tackle for a loss, and a forced fumble against the Saints. So if he can build on that, and he's really the beneficiary of having TJ Watt back off the edge. And TJ Watt, the attention he garners, Alex Highsmith, it's your time to eat when you got one-on-one matchups going up against opposing teams' left tackle. So I expect more of that with Watt over the team's right tackle. Alex Highsmith, if you've got one-on-ones, it's your time to shine. And if there is one silver lining for what has been a frustrating Steelers season, Alex Highsmith, in my opinion, he's been playing at a Pro Bowl level this season.
Yeah, Alex Highsmith, man, I just can't say enough about Alex Highsmith. I met him in a training camp, and I sat down and talked to him and his wife and his family. No, just a good dude, Mark. Just a good dude, and he understood at the point of his time, his career, going on his third or fourth year, where he was at exactly what he needed to do, and he had some goals written down, and he's reaching those goals as we speak. So you're looking for an outside linebacker. There you have it. You have Alex Highsmith. Now we talked about Highsmith last year too as well. I think he was hurt for a little bit, but we was giving a lot of props to Alex. But he just turned the corner. Mark, he turned the corner. He understand. He believed in his opportunity, and you see what he's doing. Is damn near leading the league in sacks, QB pressures, and everything. Now I get my dog back, which is Batman, which is T.J. Watt. Former league defensive MVP. You get him back. Now attention goes to him. Now I really got action. So just a whole lot of props to Alex, man. He not only plays the run well, but he's getting to the quarterback. And if you watch his arsenal, how he gets to the quarterback, he got some tools in that toolbox. Everybody can't just be a T.J. Watt and have the Superman instincts. I'm sorry, Spider-Man instincts, and able to do what he does, catch picks at the line of scrimmage, slither around the offensive guard, the tackle. That's T.J. But somebody who has been working on their tools is Alex. And if you watch last year to this year, he's put a lot of tools in his toolbox. So, like you say, man, the man just been balling. If anybody right now needs to go to the Pro Bowl off the Pittsburgh Steelers, it should be Alex Highsmith.
Ike, you mentioned silky smooth off the edge. To me, what I've noticed, and he only uses it a few times a game when it's really, really needed, that silky smooth spin move that Highsmith has.
Yeah, bro. He got that spin. It look like how a outside linebacker have a ballerina spin, man. That thing's so graceful, man. It like it's effortless, Mark, man. That thing's so graceful. Usually when you spin, it got a lot of mean to it, like a lot of grunt, a lot of testosterone to it. He spin that thing with some kind of grace, Mark. Ain't that something?
Najee Harris should be back. Akello Witherspoon still dealing with a hamstring. We'll see about Kevin Dotson. He's got a hip injury. Matthew Wright to remain the Steelers kicker for now. We're going to talk a little bit about that during our viewer comment section, Ike.
Right.
Bengals opened as a 5-point favorite, and that 5-point spread was the biggest in Bengals history for a game in Pittsburgh. The previous highest was 4.5. That was in 1986. Steelers won that game 30-9. This line now has moved back down to 4 points, though, and I think that's a reflection, Ike, of Jamar Chase not playing. So
right.
Bengals coming off a bye week.
Right.
The key to me is stopping Joe Mixon and making sure he doesn't get going early. And
right.
I'm sorry I'm in your brain right now, Ike. I'm sorry about this, but scoring 5 touchdowns in his previous game, and I swear he was trying to win all of fantasy football in one half of football against the Panthers. And to me, that's where it all starts, because if you stop Joe Mixon, don't get me wrong, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, very good receivers, but their job is made easier when Jamar Chase is out there. To me, line of scrimmage, you've got to stop Joe Mixon from getting going early. That's the key to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you took the words out of my mouth, Mark. That's exactly what I was going to say. And I was talking to somebody about this yesterday at our cigar event. So make sure y'all go to howardgcigars.com. Anything you want to celebrate, or if you like stogies, make sure you go to howardgcigars.com. Get you a one-of-a-kind. Bam. There you go. But, yeah, Mark, getting back to what you just said, Joe Mixon is the key. Joe Mixon had you pretty much a lot what the people call a stat for the year. He did that in one game. That's what Joe Mixon did a couple of weeks ago. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, which has always been the question mark, stopping the run, that's exactly what they're going to have to try to do against the Cincinnati Bengals, to stop the run, because you're not only missing Jamar Chase, but you're taking a lot of pressure off of Joe Cool. Even though Joe Cool can handle it, you're taking a lot off of him by handing the ball off to Mixon. And Mixon a couple of weeks ago, man, before they had this bye, he was cutting up, as the old people would say in New Orleans, and cutting up in a good way. He was cutting up on the field. And when you have 5 touchdowns, and when you just a guy like Joe Mixon, and you understand every time he scores, he does dances. He was running out of dances. He was scoring so many touchdowns. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, they will have to find a way to stop Joe going off like how he did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's hilarious, to where it's like you've run out of dances when you get into the end zone. You score so many times. That's amazing. That's amazing. Bengals one game above 500, Ike. They need this game. The Ravens are still a heavy favorite to win the division, but coming off a bye week, we'll see how they play. Mike Tomlin says earlier this week about Joe Mixon, quote, he finishes off runs. He plays with violence in the secondary, end quote. So I don't want him getting to the secondary. Let's keep him at the line of scrimmage, get the front seven going. And I don't want, him on the back end of going against corners and safeties. Let's bottle him up at the line of scrimmage, Ike.
Yeah, Joe low, bro. I don't think people understand. Joe like 225, 230. So and he tall with it, 6 feet. So this is not a small human being, and he's built compact. I was watching Joe when he was at Oklahoma. So then I got an opportunity now to just watch him because he's in the division, and we got to play him twice. So Joe is a low, and he's very elusive. Like, he's not just a stiff runner. Joe can pretty much do it all. Got good feet, got power behind it. And usually when you see Joe run the ball, man, Joe is falling forward. So that's what you got to love about Joe. But on the other hand, man, I hope he don't have a game. I hope the Pittsburgh Steelers defense shut his butt down.
How about a rinse and repeat of what the Steelers did to Alvin Kamara, Ike? That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But I keep telling you, I seen this before, man. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they about to make this run, bro. Everything is falling. It's falling in line for them. You talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers not having, a rush over 20-something yards, and look what they gave you. Bam. Najee come through and give you. And we talked about, George Pickens getting involved early, and bam. Look what they do. We talked about Fairmouth getting involved more, which he always have been. And bam, look what he do. We talk about them stopping. That was our biggest. Well, your biggest concern was Kamara, and I agree. My other concern was Chris Olave. So they did everything. They checked every box. Everything we talked about in them boxes, they checked all them boxes off. And I'm telling you, that's how it happens sometimes. And you want to be healthy going into the latter part of the year, and you want to get rolling. You want to get hot going into the latter part of the year. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think that win last week really gave them some confidence because don't forget, Coach T haven't beat the Saints. He haven't beat the Saints. So that was his first time. So that's what gave him 31 teams. So he beat every team in the NFL throughout the course of his coaching career. So, Mark, I'm telling you, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they talked about Najee and Jaylen Warren, splitting carries, and Najee was all for it. Like, I didn't watch this dude in training camp. When Najee was saying, he was like, man, I didn't watch this dude in training camp, man. Like, he gives me a break, and I know when he gets in there, he's going to do exactly what I'm trying to do: attitude, personality, and gain yards. So I'm telling you, man, this team, in my perspective, just watching it from afar and listening to these interviews by these players, they ready, bro. They ready. They ready. They ready. They ready. They ready.
Ike, before we get into score predictions, I do want to ask you about your opinion of the color rush uniforms. I personally am a fan. I like the Steelers color rush uniforms better than the Bengals. The all white, I guess you could say it looks fresh and clean. I do like the black and the gold of the Steelers uniforms, but I wanted to get your opinion of that too. As someone who's a former player, I know you had like the Bumblebee uniforms back when you played.
That Bumblebee was my fave, Mark. Man, you couldn't tell me nothing. Like, man, I done messed around. And just walked. I left the stadium. One time I left the stadium, went out to eat with the Bumblebee uniform on. I said, man, this thing here so cool. This a whole outfit.
Is that true?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I used to do some off the wall stuff, bro. But yeah, that Bumblebee outfit for me was like the first day of school. Like, you had your new shoes, you had your socks, your jacket, your shirt. You're like, ooh, wait till I put this on. With the fresh haircut, like, ooh, wait. That's how that Bumblebee jersey was for me. Like, as soon as I saw who was wearing the Bumblebee, I was like, ooh, first day of school memories.
So hang on. What do you think of the color rush uniforms, Zach? I'm sorry. I very roundabout way of asking that question.
No, they cool. They cool. They cool. They cool. I like the Bumblebee better, but since you asked me what I think, I would say it's cool.
Like, you could pull off any look though, because I mean, there's a reason you're swagging you, and you could literally pull off any look. I'm not sure every player can.
Man, it's the aura that come with it, bro. Like, people see, like, confidence is a mother. Mark, people see and feel it. Like, when you walk in and you're just super sure of yourself, like, that vibe just comes off to a lot of people. That's how I walked in the field, and that's how I walk pretty much anywhere. Like my vibe just comes off like, who the heck is this dude, and why is he walking like that? you know, you know what I'm saying? That's just, I'm super sure, super confident of myself.
I'm just imagining Ike Taylor along the banks of the Three Rivers, where they're going to Carson Street, maybe the Strip District Ike, and it's just like, is that Ike Taylor in his Bumblebee uniform? Yeah.
Yeah, I cutting up. Boy, I used to be a handful, boy. I used to get called to the principal office. That means Mr. Rooney and Kevin Colbert and Coach T. I used to get called to the principal office a lot, boy. For real.
All right, Ike, we're going to go to my score prediction.
Okay.
After all this Steelers optimism,
Right.
I'm still picking the Bengals. You told me I would earlier this week. I've got the Bengals winning 28-24. I think it'll be a close game. But the silver lining, though, is my picks against the spread, I'm either like 2-7 or 3-3. My picks against the spread have been terrible. So if you fade me and you go to betonline.ag, you can make some coin. I've got the Bengals winning 28-24. That's where I'm at. What say you, Ike Taylor?
I'm going to take 24-21 Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
But make sure y'all do go to betonline.ag, regardless of what we're talking about.
You can see that on your screen right now. So head over there. Ike, let's go to viewer comments of the week. This is going to be a new segment that we do where if you leave an insightful comment on YouTube or if you have a question for us, we will take the time to answer it. So want to do that. We have 3 to get through this week. New segment. I hope that this works. Let us know if you like it. But it gives our viewers and listeners a chance, Ike, to interact with both of us. And it's like, where else can you interact with a guy who's a 12-year veteran, a 2-time Super Bowl champion? So I'm very excited about this. Let's start, though. And Russ Obenstein writes in, he says, guys, George Pickens reminds me of Megatron. Gonna be great. So what I wanted to ask you, Ike, based on that comment is, we're both very, very high on George Pickens. Which receiver does he remind you of?
So he's a mix of AJ Green and
I don't see AJ Green in your contacts.
AJ Green and Hines Ward. So he's got the toughness like Hines. He loves blocking like Hines. He's stronger, faster, and quicker than you think, like an AJ Green. I don't think people understood how good AJ Green was. He just stayed injured. AJ Green, when you looked at him, like I look at George the same way, he looks like a basketball player. Both of them look like basketball players. But man, they strong as oxes. And I just like the physicality. So I split him up with Hines, and I give him, which AJ Green was very elusive, very quick, very fast, and pretty much had a radius out this world when it came down to catching the ball. And of course, no other young wide receiver doing what George Pickens is doing when it comes down to catching. I mean, he's plucking it. He's plucking the ball out of the air. That's exactly what he's doing. He's not waiting till the ball come close to him. He's not catching it with his body. He's hands-on. He's catching the ball with his hands pretty much every time. So I would say the mix of them two. But George, he's different. Yeah, alien. He called himself an alien, and I respect the heck out of that. That's exactly what it is, man. Matter of fact, let me cancel both of them what I just said, Mark. That's the comparison between Hines and AJ Green. But yes, the man is an alien. So I'm going to compare him to an alien. I'm sorry.
We call Ben Roethlisberger 7 on this show, Ike. If we just say alien, our viewers and listeners should know, really from this point forward, we're talking about George Pickens. And that catch he had along the sidelines the other week, Ike, you talk about catching the ball with your hands, high pointing the football. He's demonstrated that time and time and time and time again. So to put him in Megatron's category, Hall of Famer, but Megatron in the league, 2007 through 2015. He was a 6-time Pro Bowler, a 4-time All-Pro. To say George Pickens is Megatron, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to disrespect Calvin Johnson. But we are very, very excited about George Pickens. And to recap what you said, I cross between, AJ Green, Hines Ward, and an alien. And George Pickens, the alien. I like that, Ike. We're going to keep this train rolling here on the Bleav in Steelers show.
Yeah, that's his nickname, Gap. George Alien Pickens. That's the one we gave. We gave him that, Mark.
That makes me laugh every time, and it warms my heart.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to the next viewer comment, also from Russ Obenstein. He says, why didn't they keep Nick Skiba, the kicker? And let me tackle this one, Ike.
Yes.
Matthew Wright has a history with the Steelers. Now, Chris Boswell's been the guy for the last several years. They've brought Matthew Wright in before the start of the season, in seasons past, and Wright has a little bit more of an NFL pedigree than Nick Skiba has. So the Steelers felt more comfortable with Matthew Wright. Now, if Matthew Wright struggles again for a second consecutive week because he's coming off the game where he missed 2 field goals, you got to explore your other options while Chris Boswell recovers from that groin injury. But just given his previous history with the same franchise and his history with other teams in the league, he has a little bit more of an NFL career and pedigree. That's why they kept Matthew Wright over Nick Skiba.
There you go. You said it best, Mark.
Yeah. So, Russ, thank you for your comments. We got one more to get through, Ike. Orlando Williams writes in, he says, Ike, if you had another year or two, could you, or excuse me, let me rephrase this. He says, Ike, you could have had another year or two if you would have moved from cornerback to safety. Ike, what say you about that? And I know towards the end of your career, mentally you were done, but physically, could you have switched from corner to safety to extend your NFL career? I think we froze for just a second. I think we froze for just a second as we work to get Ike back. We'll do that here in just a second. Ike, I can see you. I'm not sure that I can hear you, though.
Can you hear me?
There we go. We got you back, Ike.
Okay.
Let me re-tee up the question for you. So, Orlando Williams writes in, says, Ike, he says, Ike had another year or two if he would have went from corner to safety. IT, what say you about Orlando's comment?
Yeah, that was going to be the move. Going from corner to safety. Probably playing, I mean, he hit it on the head. Probably playing a year or two at that position. I was kind of working on that when I was hurt. When I did not wanted to retire, when I was coming off my forearm injury, I was playing safety every day in practice. So I was kind of tuning myself up for it. But then, just a certain part of the game against that Cincinnati game, that's when everything like left. I said, yeah, this ain't for me anymore. But that was the whole goal for me to. And then when I wanted to retire, they still asked me a few times, "Are you sure? You sure we can move you in at safety?" But I was gone. I checked out. My heart wasn't there for football anymore. I felt better. I felt more enthused. I felt better helping the young guys get ready for games with the coaching staff than actually playing. So I didn't know that until I actually got back on the field, and I got beat. AJ Green beat me, and I wasn't upset anymore. And I came to the sideline. I mean, Coach T and Kevin Colbert tell you this, like, yeah, he retired during the game, and that's just straight up real. But yeah, I had two more years left in me. 2 more years left in me for sure. Good question.
Why is it that a player can move from corner to safety to extend their career?
So you're not as fast as you once was. You understand the rules, and the physicality really won't never change. But you're still valuable and smart enough to play 12 years to understand what the offense is trying to do, the defense, and you're able to cover third receivers, tight ends, running backs coming out the backfield. When you get up in that age, that's what you're able to do. And it's not about speed anymore; it's about the IQ. So your IQ so high at that point, you're putting yourself in position pretty much every time. So that's what it is. That's why guys who don't mind, they move from corner to safety, and that's the reason why.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of players do it in the league. Ike, thank you to the commenters for your questions. And sometimes the goofier the question, the more insightful. Ike, I want to see some stuff that's totally outside of the box. Right. I hope they enjoyed this segment too. And again, it lets them be part of our show, Ike. So we're going to do this moving forward. And I hope that we answered all of your questions there. Ike, let's rip through some Week 11 picks.
All right.
And we had Thursday night last night, Titans taking care of business against the Packers. But we will go to Panthers at Ravens. Baker Mayfield can be back under center for the Panthers after he got binged in favor of PJ Walker. We'll see what he can do for the remainder of the season. Ike, in my opinion, Baker is playing for his NFL future at this standpoint because it has not gone well for his stint with the Panthers this year after he got traded from the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Panthers are trying to keep him under that 70% threshold because then they can send Cleveland back a 5th-round pick instead of a 4th-round pick. But I'm curious to see what Baker does. Ravens are a 12-point favorite at home in this one. I don't know that they'll cover, Ike, but this is what I would do. Take the Ravens at home, throw that on the money line, and throw it in a parlay. That's what I would do in this one.
Yeah, if y'all are just thinking about betting, make sure y'all go to betonline.ag. The 12-point spread for the Ravens, that's a hefty spread. But Lamar just playing out of his mind this year. You know what I'm saying? And Baker Mayfield is playing to be a starter for the rest of his career in the NFL. If not, he's just going to be a backup. That's just how they're going to start looking at him. So Baker is playing for his career for this year. You know, so it is just tough to see him because I like Baker coming out of Oklahoma. He was in a great situation, man. To have 2 running backs, have a receivers, a few tight ends, and a lot of first rounders sitting on defense in Cleveland. Like, golly, man, it came down to that, you know. And the grass is real green sitting in Cleveland. If you're a quarterback, and Deshaun Watson is about to come back too in a couple of weeks. But if you're a quarterback and you have all them pieces, what I just said around you, boy, I tell you, boy, you in heaven as a quarterback. Because I might ask you to win 1 or 2 games with this running game and with the defense that we have. I'm talking as I'm in Cleveland. It's tough. Now you go to the Carolina Panthers and you got to win every game, which you was never asked to do in the NFL, to win every game. You know, you don't have the Kareem Hunt, the Nick Chubbs, the Njokus, the Jones people. You don't the Amari Coopers. You don't have that no more. You ain't got none of that no more. You know, top 3 offensive line. You ain't got that no more. You know, you can sit back and do play action pass all day, or order some food while you're sitting back in the pocket because that old line. That's just what it was. So Baker realized, like, dang, man, I really did have it good in Cleveland. But Lamar and company, man, they just doing Lamar, man. He just playing out his mind. So honestly, with that spread, I go to bet online. I take that spread. I know you said parlay, but I take that spread because we're forgetting about their defense as well too. So their defense playing lights out. They taking away, getting turnovers. But Lamar in that running game, and Lamar has become he's starting to wake up as a passer as well. So when you got all that involved, man, I take that 12-point spread.
Hey, I got to go back to something you said. You said get some food while you sit in the pocket. I'm assuming you're going with your mom's gumbo while you're sitting in the pocket. Where, what are you eating while you've got all that time when you've got that time in the pocket? Because the Browns' offensive line is pretty stout. We'll get Ike back here in just a second. We can move on. Eagles and Colts, and the Colts at home. Eagles a 6.5-point favorite, and the Eagles coming off that loss to the Commanders. Ike, this is my biggest matchup this week because Jeff Saturday, interim head coach, his second game as the interim. I'm telling you right now, if the Colts find a way to win this game, and I don't expect that to happen because I think the Eagles are going to come out with their hair on fire.
Right.
Eagles just signed Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
Solidify that defensive line. But if the Colts find a way to win this game, what are we going to be talking about the following Monday, next Monday? Because everyone thinks that Jeff Saturday is just inept, which is just, we've talked about it now the last 2 shows, like, is just not true. I would love to see the Colts find a way to win this one, just so we turn that whole conversation on its face about Jeff Saturday.
I mean, they're going to try to do the same thing the Washington Commanders did. Run that thing down their throat. Slow the clock down. Gave the Philadelphia Eagles a few opportunities to score. That's exactly what a former offensive lineman as a head coach. What the heck? When he saw the Washington Commanders do what they did, he was like, oh, y'all beat me to the punch. because this was my game plan when I was gonna play y'all. This is exactly what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play good defense. We're gonna control the clock. We're gonna have some manageable third downs. They just gotta go. They gotta go 12 or 14 on third down, like the Washington Commanders did. It's hard to do that. The Washington Commanders went 12 or 14 on third down. On third down. That's a whole lot of everything got to go right, going right that day. You feel what I'm
Hey, the Taylor Heineke led Washington Commanders
saying?
too, Ike.
Yeah. So, hey, listen here. They're gonna hand the ball off a lot, and you might see old prehistoric Matt Ryan run the ball a few times too, scramble and run too. So, but yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles, man, they want to win a Super Bowl right now.
Prehistoric, you act like Matt Ryan's from a different eon, Ike.
I mean, to the young kids, to the young boys, yeah, he definitely is. You know, he's a dinosaur out there. Heck, what you talking about, Mark? So, but yeah, the Eagles trying to win a Super Bowl this year, baby. You see the moves they make. Yeah, they not playing a round. They all in.
I look at that D line. I don't mean to interrupt you, but it just excites me because you bring in Ndamukong Suh. You see what he did for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season. Right. Still a productive player, even at his advanced age. He's 35. Right. Maybe you get Jordan Davis back in the coming weeks. He's on IR right now with an ankle sprain. Marlon Tuipulotu, apologize if I mispronounce his name, joined him on IR on Wednesday. Right. But this is a D-line where you still have Fletcher Cox. Remember, they brought in Robert Quinn from the Bears too. Right, and I'm just looking at it, and I know the game's not played on paper, but if I'm an opposing offense against the Eagles, good luck.
Yes, I don't know, man. That the Washington Commanders to go in that hostile environment in the city of brotherly love. Ain't nothing brotherly about that city when you playing football up there. Don't nobody like it. To do what they did, they made plays in the back end as well. Like they forced turnovers, and they was throwing the ball down the field. They got a few calls. They made a few plays. They hit a few deep shots. So they didn't walk in scared. And I think head coach Jeff Saturday, he's not walking in scared. I think the Washington Commanders and River Ryan, they beat him to the punch because they played a week before they did. This is exactly what he was going to do regardless. So we shall see. I saw him beef up. I don't know if these free agent guys are going to play this week. Yeah. We shall see. But that's exactly what teams going to start to do. I just know Jeff Saturday, man. He will come in with that same mindset.
Yeah, Linval Joseph also signing with the Eagles. Like they beef up the interior in addition to Ndamukong Suh. I'm going to take the Eagles on the road to cover the 6.5. I think they're just going to come out with their hair on fire following the loss to the Commanders, Ike, and I think that they regroup here in Week 11. I'll take the Eagles on the road to cover the spread.
Gotcha.
All right, let's move on to Rams at Saints. Matthew Stafford expected to clear concussion protocol, and John Wolford, who filled in for Stafford, he got injured and he got banged up. He didn't practice on Wednesday, sore neck from playing against the Cardinals. And you're probably wondering, why are we talking about this game? And the reason, Kyren Williams, the rookie running back for the Rams, made his NFL debut against the Bills a few weeks back.
Right.
And this will be his second game. He only played 16 of the team's 68 snaps, but I thought he was a productive player. This was a guy coming out of college we liked at the top of the running back class, and the Rams have struggled to run the ball all season long. You get Kyren Williams, the rookie out of Notre Dame, going. I'm telling you right now, could help solve some of the Rams' problems offensively. I know there's no Cooper Kupp. Kyren Williams is a name. I'm telling you right now, like with Cooper Kupp out, no one's talking about it, but it was a guy we liked coming out of Notre Dame in advance of the season when we were doing our draft preparations.
Yeah, I like Williams, but who the Rams play? They play
the Saints. The Saints. And they're sticking with Andy Dalton at quarterback. I know that there were some rumors that they might go Jameis or someone else, but I'm going to take the Rams.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints. The reason why I'm taking the Saints is because Alvin Kamara won't have 2 back-to-back bad games. Chris Olave will prove why he's a high draft pick for the 2022 draft. And the defense will be back to where they need to be. So, yeah, and right now the LA Rams they're not looking like the Rams, and you're losing Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford was out last week with the injury as well. They just don't look the same. They don't look in sync. Uh, that Super Bowl hangover is for real. Unless you're a Tom Brady, that Super Bowl hangover is really real. And to miss a guy like Cooper Kupp, I don't know what his percentage. It got to be. It got to be over 50. Like he's over 50% of your offense. You know what I'm saying when it comes down to receiving. So it's going to be tough. So from that point, um, I don't see Alvin Kamara getting shut down for 2 weeks in a row. I see Chris Olave doing his thing in the Saints defense, bouncing back from what Pittsburgh did a week ago. So I'm taking the Saints.
Like, why is the Super Bowl hangover real? Because you experienced it twice in your career. In your 2 Super Bowl titles, your Steelers team did not make the playoffs the following season. Why is that?
It's just it's. I mean, your off season is different. You know, you pretty much well, my off season was different, but I never stopped working. So you pretty much everywhere in the off season, Mark. You know what I'm saying? You autograph signings, hosting parties, just sponsorships. You everywhere. Like people just want to be a part of a champion, and that's the pinnacle of your career. Whether it's going to the Hall of Fame after, getting into the playoffs, but when you win a Super Bowl, man, that changes your life. You know, because it's hard doing it, and that off season is different. The off season is very. You're making a lot of money in the off season, and you doing that meaning you have to travel in the off season, because the opportunity ain't gonna come. You know, you don't even know if it's gonna ever come again. So when you do that, you just moving, and you kind of get in your head like, oh yeah, we can do it again. Because you get in situations throughout the week, throughout the game, be like, oh yeah, we came back last year, we'll do this again this year, and it's not like that, Mark. So, that's just us being humans. As much as you don't want to do it, you know, you kind of get laxed, and this is what happened. That's why Tom Brady was so hard on his guys in Tampa when they won a Super Bowl. He said it. You know, the offseason, man, y'all taking this for granted. I'm 45. I've been doing this for a while. I got 7 Super Bowls. I've been to 10. Like I seen this story too many times. Hey, I want to get you. I want to get y'all 2. It'll be 8 for me. Let me get y'all 2. Got us 1. Let's get 2. But the offseason, the mother, man, when you win Super Bowls, the offseason, man, it goes so fast. Everybody just want to be a part of. They want to be a part of a champion. They really do. So you don't take it for granted. I don't want to miss this opportunity. You know, I don't want to miss these autograph signings. I don't want to miss these sponsorships. You know, I don't know when this door I don't know how long this door gonna be open. And it takes away from, you know, what you did to get there. You know, the hard work, the dedication. The hard work will always be there, but it just takes a lot of your time, man. It really does. It's a gift and a curse. Like winning Super Bowl is a gift and a curse. You know, it's a blessing throughout the off season, but it's hurting you throughout the off season. You make a lot of extra money throughout the off season. You setting up relationships throughout the off season, but you're taking away the football aspect as well. And then by the time the off season comes around, the football season comes, you like, dang, this fast. Like, I got to get in shape. Which I never had that problem, but I'm just hearing it from a lot of other guys. Like, dang, I got to get in shape. Then when you get back into the season, the situations that happened the year before that y'all overcame, you think you can do it again. Like, oh yeah, we was down 14 before. We're gonna come back. It ain't like that. Cause now you gotta understand, everybody is gunning for you. When you at the top of the mountain, you know, them other lions, they need to eat too. They trying to feed their family too. So when it's like that, man, you just feel like what you did the year before is just gonna abracadabra, it's gonna happen again. It's not. It's not. Everybody who's playing you after you won a Super Bowl, that's their Super Bowl. But you know, we're humans and we lack, and that's what happens. So, but yeah, that's why that Super Bowl hangover is real, bro. And that's what you said with, you know, the LA Rams. Just look at the commercials, man. I'm seeing Coach Sean McVay in so many more commercials, and that's after the Super Bowl. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you win Super Bowls, you just see, the headline guys get headline money in the offseason.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford too, Ike, and that was something at least nationally I hadn't really seen before they won the Super Bowl. No knock on Matthew Stafford, and look, there's a reason why it's been since the
Nice.
03-04 Patriots that have won back-to-back Super Bowls. We're talking almost 2 decades now.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like I've been there before. I've been there. I've been there.
All right, Ike. Sorry,
I've
go
been,
ahead.
nah. When we played the Packers,
Mm-hmm.
we was coming back. We was the comeback kids that year. You couldn't tell me we was gonna lose. Like, man, we about to come back, and we lost. And I still to this day ain't get over it. So it just that's what it is. Like, we was just so accustomed of coming back and winning. Then we had that fumble. It just like took the life out of us. It really didn't hit me till they roped me off. Me and Troy, they roped us off, told us to get off the field. And you just see other families come down and the confetti dropping on their head. You like, you just get the boo-hooing. You just get the crying. Like, golly, like, this is for real. Like, you don't even want to wake up. You're like, man, please tell me I'm dreaming.
Did you at least have some comfort, though, Ike, knowing that Troy was there? Because he was your teammate for all 12 years, to where you at least got to experience that together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we cried like babies on the bus, bro. Mark, we cried like some babies on the bus. Because it's we don't have the opportunity of having a series, like the best out of 5, the best out of 7. And I tell people all the time, like, when you go to a Super Bowl, like after the Super Bowl, it's mentally draining. It's so draining. Like, you need a good month or 2 just to get your mind back. It's mentally draining. It taxes your brain heavy. You got 60 plays to change your whole life, basically, and you want to be the one. You want to be the one to say I'm a Super Bowl champion. And when you lose, thank God he gave me 2. But when you lose, man, that thing, like, it's just mentally draining. It's just mentally draining. It's so draining, bro, because you don't want to be that guy who messed up the Super Bowl. I mean, it's the highest rating sports activity in the world. That one day, bro. That one day. That's the reason why halftime be 34, 35, 40 minutes. That's why artists, they say you ain't do nothing until you hit a Super Bowl. Missy Elliott hit the Super Bowl and her stock went up 1,000%. Like, everybody in the world watching the Super Bowl. When you make the Super Bowl, you made it in life. Like, you about to get paid for the rest of your life. So that's how big and important, just look at the commercials. People paying, Cheetos, they're paying $5-6 million for a 30-second slide. 30 seconds. Just think about it. So, and us as players, we like, man, I remember when they kicked the ball. I wasn't paying attention, but I remember when they kicked the ball off because I was on kickoff when we played the Packers in Dallas. And it was for the kickoff. As soon as when they kicked, I heard the cameras. I said, while I'm running, I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy. So,
I want to ask you one more question about this, Ike, because it's very insightful. Do you think that you might have learned more, a bigger life lesson in your Super Bowl defeat than your 2 previous Super Bowl victories?
Oh, yeah. Can we call? Oh, yeah, 100%. You want to come say hey, Lex?
Are you guys done?
No, we're not done. Come say hey.
We got a cameo appearance. Lex, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Hey,
very first time on the Bleav in Steelers show. I love this.
I know, right?
Right. But nah, yeah, that loss. I learned a lot from that loss, Mark. Yeah, that loss. I'm still trying to get it back. Like, that's why I'm so heavily involved with these kids and my son and my nephews, because I want them to experience that, because it still hurts to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that loss right now. So even when my kids win, bro, I put money aside. I get them rings. Like, every time I win, I have got my kids, 35, 40 kids. I have got them rings. Real live rings. Like, my financial advisor, Matt, like, bro, you tripping. I'm like, man, these kids, I don't know if these kids gonna ever experience this ever again in their life. I don't know if they ever gonna make it to that level, college or high school. So I want these kids to experience. So I bought them all rings twice. I did it twice. After that, I got them the pendants, the chains, because the rings was getting expensive. But
that speaks volumes about you, though, that you want to share that with others.
Correct. No, I really do. But that loss, you hit it on the head, Mark. That loss is still it's. We talk about that loss more than the two rings that I won. As a group, like in our group text, that's all we talk about is the loss. That's all.
One thing I want to mention too for our listeners and viewers: when I met your family, Ike, the biggest thing that I took away from every single family member I met is the amount of sacrifice that you had to make to play at as high a level as you did for as long as you did. And that's something you should be really proud of, because every single family member I talked to, that came up in our conversation when they were telling me about you and your life and your career. Man,
God has blessed me to like, I wouldn't be here. Me and you wouldn't be talking. Yep. If I wasn't a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and I really do believe that we wouldn't be talking. But the fact that that's on my resume, and you have a long history of TV and radio and podcasts, is like it just came together. So as soon as me and you got to work, and it just clicked like that. Like other Bleav networks, not networks, but podcasts. I don't know if they have, the brotherhood like we do. Like I met your mom and dad, you came to the family. Like it just hit different. But that's all I know. So if I'm working with you, I want to be a part of you. I want you to be family. So that's exactly.
Yeah. I kind of approach it from, if I were just starting out in the industry, gosh, I go back and I'll listen to old recordings. I was terrible. And that's not to say I'm perfect. No, I'm trying to get better. But Mark, when I first started, lousy.
Mark, I was bad. I was bad because I felt like I had to be somebody else. And when I said F it, and it only took me 2 weeks. When I said, man, they just gonna have to like me, it took off. Because they were trying to get me to go to a speech pathologist, and I'm so glad one of my producers, he was like, no, that won't be Ike. He said, just let Ike be Ike. And I'm telling y'all, everything gonna work out. So he went to bat for me. And, little do you know, like, slowly but surely, every day, every week, our stock just got to rising on the show. So, and I'm so thankful. He didn't want to change nothing. He was like, nah, just be you. He was like, Ike, they trying. We still talk to this day. He was like, Ike, man, they trying to get me to change. He was like, but I see something different. And I'm so glad he had my back. So this is us, Mark. Like, smart
producer, very smart producer, Ike.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This is what we do. We have fun on the show though, Mark. Like this is authentic. This is what we're doing.
We need to finish up, Ike. 3 more picks. We'll go really quickly. Browns and Bills. They're moving this game. I was looking forward to the thunder snow in Buffalo. They're going to go to Detroit.
Right.
And if the Bills lose, then I think they're in trouble because the Bills have lost 2 games in a row. However, the Bills are still the favorite to win the Super Bowl. And I think that they get right against a struggling Browns team. Give me the Bills. I don't know, at the neutral site territory in Detroit, but I'm going to take the Bills against the Browns.
I'm going with the Browns.
Wow.
Because you around this time you starting to see you got to have a running game. You have to have a running game. And just look at the teams. Look what teams are doing. And you can pass all you want to. And I'm on fantasy. You can pass all you want to. But around this time, November, December, football, Thanksgiving, once the Thanksgiving holidays come, you have to have a running game. And I've been saying this for the Buffalo Bills for the longest.
Yep.
The running back can't be your quarterback. You're putting him in harm's way. Get you a big bruiser. I've been asking the Buffalo Bills to get him a big bruiser for the past 2 years. Get you a big bruiser. But now you put your big bruiser is your franchise guy, which is your quarterback. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. And now you got teams, you got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt coming in town. Man, they about to hand the ball. They about to hand the ball off. They about to hand the ball off, man. They about to hand the ball off because once Deshaun Watson come back, they gonna get the slanging. So you know what? They're gonna get this running game started. They're gonna get everything they can get, and it's a wrap. So I'm going with the Cleveland Browns, bro. I love Josh Allen. Um, I love the Buffalo Bills, but man, I'm rocking with the AFC North this week, baby. I'm going with the Cleveland Browns.
Spread is 7.5 points. Bills are favored. We'll see, Ike. And I'm with you there. Bills, get Devin Singletary. You brought in Naheem Hines during the deadline, James Cook. One or two of those guys, we need them now because November, December, January. Ike, you tell me all the time, the cold weather.
But they need a bruiser. They need a six. They need Latavius Murphy, a Najee, a Derek. They just the AJ Dillon. They need a bruiser, bro. It ain't number 3 or 4 yards, and that's cool. But after Josh Allen keeps slinging that ball and passing and throwing darts and touchdowns, and I keep handing the ball off, man, I could just. You saw what the Washington Commanders did, man. They held the ball. Look at the time of possession from here on out. After Thanksgiving, Mark, all.
Uh-oh. Looks like we lost Ike.
The football games is time of possession.
We got him back. Okay, Ike, 2 more games. Sunday Night Football, Chiefs-Chargers. Chiefs, a 7-point favorite on the road.
Right.
But the Chargers, we know this, Ike. I think there's going to be some Chiefs fans that travel out to LA. I noticed this with the Chargers games where it's like, oh, we can go to La La Land and we can go visit. And it's a nice place. I'm going to take the Chiefs on the road against the Chargers. Mahomes, I think, gets right. I don't think Juju's going to play in this one, come off the concussion injury, but I like the way that the Chiefs utilized Kadarius Toney. I really like the way that they utilized Kadarius Toney in this one. So give me the just a second. Give me the Chiefs on the road on Sunday night. And we're going to work to see if we can get Ike back right now. He's got a black screen. One more pick, Monday Night Football. And Monday night, 49ers at Cardinals. 49ers are an 8-point favorite. It's unclear if Kyler Murray is going to play. I will take the Cardinals. And we'll get Ike back here now. Oh. There we go. We got you back.
Yeah.
I picked the Chiefs against the Chargers on Sunday night, Ike. Right. And then the Monday night matchup, 49ers at the Cardinals. It's unclear if Kyler Murray is going to be back. I like this 49ers team, and goes back to what we're talking about with running the football. The physicality, though, that the 49ers play with. Defensively, they're outstanding.
Right.
But CMC in the backfield, Debo, Kittle, Juszczyk, those 4 alone on offense. Scary.
Yeah, so I'm definitely taking the Chiefs. I'm rocking with Patrick.
Yep.
I mean, he just – man, and we thought he was going to have trouble when Cheetah left. Psych, he is distributing that thing just like a point guard, just like a Michael being a Magic Johnson. Everybody getting some love, and that's what you got to love about Patrick Mahomes. He's showing everybody some love on slinging them the ball. So I'm definitely going with the Chiefs. The Chiefs just got somebody special, and his name is Patrick Mahomes. And it's hard to have a guy that the offense and the defensive side rally around. So Patrick Mahomes is just all the way different. You know, they play for him, and they love to play with him. They love watching him play. As a defensive guy, I like watching Patrick Mahomes play. So I can only imagine being the teammate on defense watching him play. Like, how in the world he just do that? Like, how did he do that? He give you one of them once a week. For the San Francisco 49ers, you know, they just got that old school tough. We just gonna go outside and fight. That's what the 49ers have. And it's crazy to say this on the offense and defensive side. You know, you got Deebo Samuels. All he want to do is just bring you outside and just fight you. Offensive lineman, who's my guy? Who's my offensive lineman?
The left tackle, like?
Yeah.
Trent Williams?
Trent, bring you outside, fight you. You go on the defensive side, Greenlaw, Fred Warner, fight you. You know what I'm saying? They just got some guys who just want to drink beers, go outside, and you know what? Let's just knuckle up right quick. So I just love their old school mentality. They just putting up 22 points a game. So that's what I don't get, Mark. You got all this talent on offense, and you just give me a 22 piece. I can't get 24 to 28. That's the only thing I don't understand. You got a hell of a defense. You got a top 5 defense in the league. You got everything. You got CMC. You got Debo. You got Kittles. You got Elijah Mitchell. He just came back. That's why they got rid of Wilson Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all like that's all we're doing is the deuce. Come on, man. Don't Will Gaby, man. Ike T me. You feel me? And if y'all ain't catch what I just said, Will Gaby's my former teammate. His number was 22. And of course, you know the one and only Ike number was 24. So come on, San Fran.
Thank you for explaining that, Ike, because I was just going to let it fly, but now everyone knows we're on the same page. We're talking your turkey.
Gotcha. Yes, sir.
Speaking of turkey, Thanksgiving is next week, Ike.
Right.
I want to thank you. I want to thank the Bleav Network. If you see our show, Apple Podcasts, leave that 5-star review. YouTube,
Please.
Tap subscribe.
Please.
Today's sponsor of the Bleav in Steelers show, betonline.ag. And I want to thank the listeners and viewers, Ike. Hopefully we make this entertaining for you. And leave us those comments. Viewer comment of the week that's coming back for each and every show.
Hey, big shout out to betonline.ag. They've been rocking with us since day one. Gotta give a big thanks to the Bleav in Podcast Network. Everybody working behind the scenes. Man, we appreciate everybody. Make sure y'all give us a 5-star review, subscribe and rate. And want to thank the new segment. What is it called?
We can work on a title, like, but it's going to be viewer comments. It can be viewer questions. But what we want to do is take the. Go ahead, Ike.
We're gonna call it "What Y'all Thinking."
I like that.
That's
what
we're gonna
y'all
call
thinking.
I like
for
that. Viewers, what y'all thinking? What I mean by what y'all thinking is you can ask a question. You can say your thoughts. We can bounce off y'all questions, or we can just go take the comments and have a conversation. So, our new segment, if Mark agreed to this, it's gonna be called "What Y'all Thinking," and that's for the viewers. Whatever y'all want to say, or if y'all have questions or comments, make sure y'all go to our new segment, and the name again will be called "What Y'all Thinking."
Bam. For Ike Taylor, I'm Mark Bergin. Thank you for watching the Bleav in Steelers show. We'll be back next week to break down Bengals and Steelers. Until then, take care and so long, everybody.
Peace.